We'll move away from rugby because we want to talk footy, and we want to talk with the main man at the Fremantle Dockers. He'll hate me saying it, but he runs the place. He runs Fremantle. Chris Bond, welcome aboard.
You're right, Lockie. It's a ridiculous thing to say. So how are you? I hope you're well.
Going very well. How have you been over the last couple of weeks? First of all, the free agency period where you were very successful in picking up Daniel Pearce. I reckon he's going to be fantastic for you. And, of course, you've had a bit of a taste so far of Trade Week, which goes for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think it'll probably change, Lockie, over the next couple of years, but I don't mind being quite long with the introduction of free agency. It's better being too long than too short, and then things, can be adjusted from there. So obviously free agency was, and it's still going, but the first few days of free agency were pretty intense. But I think all teams have had, I think the heads of agreement was done between the AFLPA and the AFL about 2.5 years ago on free agency. So everyone's had their time to get their head around it and get their TPP in a position where they can dabble it in if they need to.
Pearce is going to be great for you. Have you got anybody else? I know Scott Gumbleton has been spoken about. Are you any further down the track with Scott Gumbleton?
No, look, we've certainly spoken to Scott, but in regards to it, that's about where it is. It's just a matter of just going through everything, seeing where our list is at towards the end of trade week, and then we'll make a call on there. Scott's a terrific person and a great talent, but it's just going to take bite its time.
You sort of get the feeling that you've got something else up your sleeve, Bondi. Is that right? Is there someone up there that you're going to
come clean, Bondi? Come on.
Come on. It's just you're just talking to Kim and myself here.
No, that's right. No, I can honestly say I think a fair bit of our list management committee puts a fair bit of due diligence into everything we do. So look, we're not going to be massive players, I don't think, in the next couple of weeks. But you never say never, Lockie. And I think we'll keep working towards it. We'll have a better idea where our list is at towards the end of trade week, and then we can make a few decisions then.
Yep. Chris, I asked Craig Vosso the same question. The role of Ross Lyon in this, is he as the final say, or is it a committee, or he says to you halfway through the season, look, I really would like this type of player, a 6'4" forward, or whatever it happens to be. How does it work within the Dockers?
Yeah, look, we have a very strong list management committee where Ross and Brad Lloyd and Steve Rossich, myself, Steve Harris, Steve O'Reilly and Ben Allen are all involved. So, Look, at the end of the day, we all sit down during the course of the year and always analysing our list, where we're at and what our needs are. We have a very strong list management model that is wheeled out every May that we adjust and look at and look at our path and our direction. That first started in 2008 with, really that year was a significant change. We had 14 draft picks in that year, and in our last game, in our second final, I think 7 players were from that draft. So that was probably the biggest shift. Yep. But no, we're always in continued discussions with it, and we're always tracking players either through pro scouting or national draft, and that continues.
Yep. And some of the criterion there, just for our listeners, would that be to do with their age or number of games played and that sort of thing, Chris?
Yeah, it's a good question. We've certainly looked at, the Daniel Pearce is probably a really good example of it. Daniel's 26 years of age and played 150 games. And for us, that is certainly an area that we're not haven't really that advanced in. We haven't got a lot of players in that bracket, of where we think they need to be. We want to get to the stage where we're one of the most experienced teams in the comp, because there is a direct correlation between that and success. Now, that doesn't mean you only have to have that to have success, because other teams are doing that well. West Coast Eagles have got a great balance of what they're doing and with their list as well. But we feel we're on the right track. But we are a team that have said since 2008, national draft is a very important part of where we want to get to, and we'll continue with that.
Can I just throw a few names at you, Chris? Dylan Roberton, what's the latest on a possible move for him?
Well, look, Dylan, for family reasons, is keen to get home. He's told us that. We're happy to help in regards to that. And at the moment, it's really in other clubs' hands. It's a matter of them coming to us and having a chat. We'll do what's in the best interest of the football club, but obviously we'll help Dylan as much as we can as well.
And of course, yesterday I was mucking around on the slide, so I haven't been up to date with the trade talks. That's the water slides, that is.
Yeah.
Alex Silvagni, there was a bit of talk that possibly he will be delisted or moved on. Can you give us an update on him?
Well, his contract, I haven't heard that at all.
Okay.
So I think that's probably just one of those things that come out at this time of year. No, Alex is contracted, and that's where it sits.
That was in the Twitter sphere, so we won't be watching that again. And Jacob Surgeon, is there any interest in him, Chris, having the news yesterday that he was delisted by Port Adelaide?
No, there won't be from our end. That's no disrespect to Jacob at all, but from our point of view, it's nothing that we're going to move forward on.
Chris, can you just tell me, when do you blokes get to sleep? I mean, you've been going all season, and now this is a pretty, obviously this is a culmination of a lot of preparation, et cetera, but when do you actually sort of think, oh, God, that's all finished, I can go and have, I don't know, whatever weeks you have. So just fill us in.
Yeah, look, the majority of our football staff are away now. Ross is away with the family, and a lot of all our coaches, fitness staff.
Right.
We try and have a couple of physios, rotating a little bit. Our doctors are here, but really the majority of our IT football staff and everyone is away. For me personally, it's probably around the Christmas time. We've obviously got trade period. We've got then coming up the national draft. So myself and Brad Lloyd are working closely with Steve and still in contact with a fair bit with Ross Lyon as well in regards to it.
And Chris, there has been an interesting some research done on the amount of time that the assistant coaches are putting in. How do you sort of try and get away from it? You know, do you sort of say, I've got a hobby here or something like that, so you can try and keep some semblance of balance?
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, there's no doubt our coaches do. We're very strong with our coaches to have a day a week away from the club, and we're also, and Ross and myself really manage that really strongly. But in saying that, our assistant coaches do work very hard, and especially in season. Pre-season, it'll be more Monday to Friday with weekends off. But yeah, look, we're very strong on trying to get a balance, but I can't guarantee that I'm all that good at it, to be honest. The game consumes you, and it's what it is, but you just do your best as you can, and it's just the game we're in.
Chris, before we leave you, when do the players get back on deck? And I know they're probably hovering around doing runs on treadmills and doing their bit, but when are they officially back?
November the 14th, our pre-season will start with our first 4, and then really a week after that, the next phase, and then a week after that. So by the end of November, everyone will be back on track, and we'll be working from there.
And look, we raised a player's name before, Chris Morabito. Can you just tell the fans out there, where is he at? I mean, God, have 2 knee reconstructions at such a young age. What's the sort of, going forward, the general synopsis for him?
Yeah, Ken, it was tragic circumstances, but to his credit, he's really dug in. We've had the surgeries done. We're expecting him to start running well into our pre-season and joining our football in January. We're no doubt at all we're going to get football out of Morra next year, and we're going to get a fair bit of footy. Now, at what level and what emphasis, that's not the priority for us at the moment. Andy Morabito is going to be a long-term player at our club, and the way he's really gone through this adversity is a real credit to him, and we're looking forward to some real special things in the future from him.
Yeah, great to hear.
Chris, thanks very much for joining us. Chris Bond from the Fremantle Dockers. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, Lockie. See you, Kim. Cheers.